Hello everybody and welcome back. I am KRX and we are continuing with this beginner series for Europa Universalis 4 playing as Castile, and it is going amazingly well. We have a large chunk of the North African coast, preventing Morocco and Tlemcen and other nations from raiding our heartland. Tunis can still cause problems for us with their sort of naval raids as part of the North African Berber nation traditions. They can basically come and raid our coast. That's those messages popping up all the time. They come and steal this money here and steal our sailors and things like that. I don't think it actually really affects our own pools as much as it just causes some devastation and things like that. It looks like there's been some devastation there because of raiding and so on and so forth. But for the most part, we're pushing it far enough away, I think, that and getting the nations that were causing a lot of that grief. Tunis can only do it from 3 provinces or 3 sea tiles away. So 1, 2, 3. They can do this still. Of course, they can do all this. They can just wreak havoc on all of this up in here and stuff. But it looks like for the most part they can't reach the Straits of Gibraltar. They can't start to come down this way. They can't go up and around this way anymore like Morocco could. So that's going to be good. That's going to be good. If we remove all of Tunis's coast, which is a sort of a long-term strategy, then the Berber nations will be completely docile in that sense, which is pretty cool. We're getting to the end of this tutorial. We've not covered all of the game. There's so much more of the game, and we're only in the Age of Discovery. There'll be new objectives in the Age of Reformation, new things to do. We've hit a lot of these objectives. You don't hit all these objectives with every country. Hold 3 thrones. That's something that Castile is uniquely positioned to do. Discover America, again, this is something a colonizing nation would be likely to do. If you're playing as Poland, you're not likely to do... you might hold three thrones. It turns out that Poland actually gets a PU over Lithuania through events and things, and also might have one over Moldova or Danzig or other nations, Moldova, and all kinds of different nations over there that they can. But they might not colonize, right? They might not discover America. Present on 2 continents, again, we're just in a unique position that we can be on Europe and Africa very easily, and so on and so forth. But the game continues to progress. There's new events that happen, new things that get thrown in. The world continues to evolve. We've been gaining in power, but so is France. So is England, solidifying their hold on things. It looks like the Ottomans have been doing pretty well. The Mamluks have been growing in size, and Poland, the fact that Poland controls Lithuania now, this is one blob working together. It looks like they're in a war against a few weaker nations. They can take advantage of that. Other countries are getting stronger as we're getting stronger. So the world is just evolving in a different way every time we play, right? But what I want to do is I think we want to get this juicy personal union on Portugal. I think if we could completely unify all of Iberia in the first 50 years, and not even the first full 50 years of the game, that'd be amazing. That would be a fantastic, I think, success if we could do that. So that's a few years away, right? We have the truce with them for 2 years. They haven't allied anybody yet. It's still yet to be seen whether or not they will. It's about a year and a half away from being able to do that. We have some rebellions that are popping up, mostly in this node here, but we will have the Moroccan separatists will want to rise up as well. And they're going to rise up pretty quickly. It says here that it's estimated about 3.5 years. So let's leave some of these troops behind. Let's get some of these troops over to here. We probably don't need to have forts going here. I really want to make sure we're maximizing the amount of money that we can make. This is good because this will block some of the rebellion. We maybe should have taken Marrakesh. Just been a little bit greedier there and taken Marrakesh. Oh, you know what? A spy network on Morocco might actually make some sense too. Now let's bring back the thing on Portugal. We don't really care that much about Portugal's opinion here. Let's build a spy network on Morocco. But I think there's a few things going on. I think we auto-transport over these 18,000, get them over to Seville, and then I think we'll auto-transport these 16,000 over to here where there's likely to be the rebellion first, right? Tlemcen area is likely to have the rebellion first because we conquered them a war ago, 2 wars ago, and Morocco is more recent, so it'll take a while for that to build up. So just getting those troops kind of in a position there. We're still in a full year and a half away from the Portuguese. Oh, looks like, ooh, nice. Aragon is getting back just fine. Let's make sure we have our light ships here, protecting trade in Safi. I think it might be a little bit better. Have them protect trade down here and bring it up to Seville where we collect the majority of it. We actually have money, guys. Holy cow, we actually have money. And with that money, we could do a number of different things. We can upgrade trade centers like this. If we go to Cadiz, we can see it's a trade center. Also in the trade map mode, right? We can see that it's a level 1 trade center. We can go to the building tab here and we can upgrade to from a level 1 natural harbor, we can upgrade it to a level 2. And that'll get us a local development cost, local trade power by +10, and a number of different things. Plus, it's also an age bonus to get 5 of those. We have one right now in Seville. Seville is already level 2. So we could try to get Cadiz. We have a bunch of these, right? We own 3 up here. We own 2 here. We own Tangiers, so on and so forth. We just haven't upgraded them to level 2. Tlemcen's one, this is one. They're all over the place. We're just lucky that we have a bunch of them. It's usually not that easy to get, but Castile, this is a big, heavy trade region. Castile is a powerful country. It owns a lot of the land in this area. So that is happening there. What we could do, actually, is we could go through and take all of the conquered land that we just did and make it into trade companies. So that's going to reduce some of the unrest in those areas and also prop up the actual trade power that we have in those areas. Did we do that here? No, we did not. We did not do that with all the land that we took over here. There is actually a slightly easier way to do this as well, where you can go to the trade map mode. You can click on the trade centers. You can just say add all provinces. All provinces in the Tunis area will get added. All provinces in the Safi area will get added. So there you go. But we could do it manually too, just doing it the way that we were doing it there. Nothing wrong with that. We can continue to explore. It looks like there's only one exploration mission left for our ships. We have 19,000 troops here. I bet you we could actually spend some of this money to actually build up more troops. And we actually have unlocked cannons. We've unlocked cannons. We have a force limit of 42,000. We only have 35,000 troops. I think we actually spend a big chunk of this money and just get a fleet of cannons. Cannons are really important for sieging. It's also just really nice because the cannons can actually attack while the infantry are attacking in the battles. The cannons can be sort of shooting over from the back row. So the cannons are kind of like extra damage. They're very expensive. Of course, we have a very strong economy. Well, I say very strong. It's a strong economy, but this is gonna challenge it a little bit, for sure. I'm just kind of wondering how many cavalry do we have? You know what? I think we have too many cavalry. I'm just gonna get rid of these 3,000 here, and I think I'm gonna just replace them with cheaper infantry. Just too many cavalry. Cavalry are very, very expensive. They're about as expensive as cannons, but they're not nearly as versatile. Cavalry does do a lot of damage, hits hard in a battle, but cannons just being able to siege stuff quicker. And so we've been stuck on a lot of these sieges. With the cannons, we'll be able to siege through some of these forts really quickly that Portugal has. Portugal's got a lot of forts. They got a lot of forts. Okay, these guys are going to rise up, and most likely they rise up into Tlemcen. This is a fort province, so we'll be able to move into there without like any penalty. Time is flowing right now. We're moving at speed 3. We're waiting about a year. I think it's April. No, it's July 1486. We will be able to attack Portugal. Portugal has not gotten an alliance yet. We need to be pretty swift about that. I do not want them to be able to sort of consolidate their power or sort of be ready for this attack or get allies beforehand. I'm only seeing the 7,000 troops there. Let's check on Portuguese army. What's going on, Portugal? What's the dealio here, dude? No, they got 23,000, but where are they? They're not down here. I see 7,000 here. There might be like a stack behind them. I don't know. There's like literally, we could barely not see what's going on in Portugal. It's kind of funny, actually. Let's group up all of those troops there. I think it does make sense to just send the fleet out and kind of like sit here and try to scout and see what we can see. Where is the Portuguese like army? I'm very confused here. Oh, they're just standing right here, Coimbra. They're standing in Coimbra. So there's 16,000 there and there's 7,000 there. That makes 23,000. There we go. So we have them accounted for at least. Now we still have the 26,000 from Aragon, so that will be very useful. No doubt about it. 1 year away. 1 year away from that, Portugal has gotten the ally with the Papal State. Now the interesting thing about the Papal State is we're allied to them. So it's a bummer that we're going to be attacking the Papal State, but the Papal State is not the strongest ally they could have gotten, so that's okay. That's okay. I think we're going to be pretty swift in sort of and getting this mission done. Let's move over here. This is good. We'll actually potentially be able to move these guys back to the... Actually, I don't think we need to move them back. We don't need to move them back. I think instead, all we really need to do is just have these guys actually sieging all this down here as best as they can. We can build one more troop. I think we get one in Tangiers just to be able to sort of walk on to Ceuta and step on it. We have plenty of manpower, so it was costing us manpower to build those units, but for the most part our manpower is totally fine. We have one free merchant. We have earned a merchant, okay? And I think this merchant came from the fact... It came from the fact that we have a trade company that has 51%. We have 72% power in Safi, and we earned a merchant because of that, so we have an extra merchant. So what do we do with that merchant? Well, we could put the merchant down here in the Ivory Coast and try to pull up that way. Once we start working the Caribbean, we could put one in the Caribbean. We could be collecting in... Yeah, I think that's what we do. I think we put it in the Ivory Coast, so we have an extra merchant. Oh no, we don't have the trade range. We don't have the range to come down here, which is kind of interesting to me considering we have a province like in that territory, but apparently we don't have the range. Let's just put it in Seville and just tell it to collect in Seville for now. It'll give us a small additional amount of money. I suspect we could check this on the month. Well, it went up to 10.5 from like 9 something, right? So presumably we're making like an extra gold from that, an extra ducat from that per month. That's pretty good. An extra ducat by having that merchant there, right on. But I think eventually we'll want merchants in these auxiliary areas pushing up the value, right, and sending it to the right spot. Right now the value is getting split between like the North Sea and the English Channel and Seville and a number of different places, right? It's getting split a bunch of times. We want it to all be going our direction, but that is a little bit too outside of our trade range right now to sort of influence it in any way. These guys are going to try to rise up in this province. And these guys are going to rise up in this province. These guys are not planning to rise up, apparently. What we could do is we could do the automated rebel suppression and try to do that and just sort of like step it down just a touch, and try to slow it down and just say we'll deal with it after the Portuguese War. Portugal, only one ally still. Oof, we're kind of lucky there. Let's get our good leader over here. We actually might need to train another leader. Turns out one of our leaders has passed away. So let's get a new leader there. And we have a little bit of siege ability, but otherwise this leader's a little bit weaker than the one we already had. Not even a little bit, a chunk weaker than the one we already have. The Pope is actually in a war right now against... Wait, is this... Ooh, wait a second. This is not a good war. Defender? Luca's actually going on the aggressive. The Papal State is not going to be able to honor this call, or even if they do, I don't think they'll be able to do anything because they're in a war that they're likely going to lose. Does the Papal State have any allies in this war? Bologna. So it's Bologna and the Papal State versus Milan, Naples, and Lucca. Ooh. Yeah, I think Naples plus Milan is going to be significantly more powerful than the Papal State and Bologna. I think Lucca and Bologna are kind of equal here. And then Naples and Milan are both kind of Papal State size. The problem I see for them is that they're all like, they have all their eggs in one basket over here. Avignon, just chilling out there doing not much. So we'll have to see if the Papal State's even interested. No, they're not. They're not interested in honoring the call. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's hit this button. We now have a claim on Naples as well. But if I look here, we go to the declare war. Sorry guys, I got something in my throat. Just taking a sip of water here. Restore the Union. Take the capital of Lisboa. And this will be presumably forming a personal union on Portugal. That's going to be huge. We just have a truce on them right now. So we got to hang out until that truce is over. We're in May. We're looking for June and then July. And then it is literally go time at that point. It is go time. Rebellion, for the most part, doesn't look like it's happening. It is definitely happening. I don't mean to say it's not happening. It's taking its time, though. One more month and we can attack Portugal. The Papal State won't even want to join, which is beautiful. Because the Papal State is allied to us, right? We don't want to break our alliance with the Papal State. We do have 200 ducats. We really need to think about how we're going to invest these. We're either going to level up these trade centers or we're going to build buildings. The thing about building buildings is there's some good buildings we can build. I mean, that's a zero. Anytime I'm building buildings, we haven't talked about building buildings because we haven't had extra funds, right? We can invest in our own country by building buildings. And the temples, the churches give us, or the churches or the temples give us extra local tax modifier. And the workshops give us extra local production efficiency. These are ways that we can increase our monthly income. This is a monthly income. We can see Madrid, if I build a temple here, I'll get 0.23 ducats per month extra. That's really good. That's multiple ducats per year, and you span that out over hundreds of years. This pays for itself. And like, if it's a 0.1, it pays for itself in 100 years. Or a little bit less than that, right? Because this is monthly income. A little bit less than that. So, yeah. Basically, anything over a 0.1 is really good because the game goes on for 400 years. Anything over like a 0.2 is just incredible. This right here is a 0.9 for this workshop. That's amazing. Let's do that, and then we'll do Madrid here. And we'll just try to build this because that's going to actually just directly increase our monthly income by half a ducat. That's going to be huge. That is going to be huge. Let's get our forts online. But it is time to attack Portugal. Papal State will not honor the call. It is go time. There's no more truce. There's no penalty here for attacking without a truce. It is go time. I just want to get in this war ASAP. I'm not really that interested in engaging the Portuguese. I'm more interested in... Okay. Cancel your autonomous rebel suppression. Trying to think this through here. I do probably want to just try to move. What I'm doing is I'm trying to carpet siege this as best as I can, but this particular province is annoying because this particular province is blocked by 2 forts. So we're going to have to use transporters to actually like get somebody over there. And I think I'm going to try to use this dude to do that, to get a guy on this province just to siege that down so they can't build up troops from here. Because if we could just get a guy standing on each of these provinces, it prevents them from building troops. We're going to send 10,000 to siege down Fez. These 4,000, we don't actually really need these 4,000 here. So to be honest, maybe we can just bring them all across, to be honest. So let's get a few transports here and try to get more people up here in this army where the actual battling is going to take place. If we take a look here, we could see, like, let's make sure that Aragon knows to, like, let's go, you know what I mean? Like, let's go, Aragon. We're just going to sit on this province. I don't think they'll engage us. They are on the same military tech as us. Now, how far are we away from getting there? We're still 6 years ahead. If Portugal wants to kind of run around for a little bit, I'm going to let them. I'm thinking that the Aragon's units are going to sort of like scare them a little bit because that is 26,000. I don't know. These garrisons that we have here aren't really set up very well. What we could try to do is we could try to get Aragon to just sit on Lisboa. See if they go for that. Okay, I'm going to grab one transport, come over here. Let's get one guy. Move him to the Straits of Gibraltar. Transport this guy specifically onto that province to try to block him. Try to block and siege that province. So Portugal is devastating our land. When they do this, they loot our land, they cause some devastation. It's not a good thing. But I think for the most part, none of this is particularly valuable in terms of the war. If we could just siege down Portugal's capital and their fort here, then they'll be essentially laid bare and we'll be able to full siege their entire country. The forts are preventing our movement around their country in the way that we would prefer. Also, if we don't engage their army, it stands to say that they might not build new troops at all. Usually the AI tries to build troops in reaction to losing troops. But if they're just kind of hanging out, if we don't ever fight them, we might not need to like take out their troops. We can get some admin. Well, let's get some admin. What is this going to actually cost us, though? So if we go to the treaties, usually it's a treaty thing. Union with Portugal, 60% war score to get this. A little bit of aggressive expansion, but no one in Europe's going to care. It's going to cause us to get a lot of prestige, like a lot of prestige. Portugal, I'm kind of, you know, I said they weren't going to build troops, but they certainly are building troops. They certainly are building troops. Yikes. What we can do is we can actually blow, we can order an artillery barrage on the fort and help with that. So we're now at 7%. Heck, if that fell right now, that would be insane. We could come up here, we could clean all this up. That would be really, really good. I mean, this is good. We're winning the war. The Pope is not interested in being a part of the war. We're sieging everything down. They're sort of blocked down here. It looks like Navarre is trying to help us there, but not succeeding. We only actually need 6,000 troops here. The way we know that is if we click on Fez, it says here, regiments needed 6 full strength regiments. They do have to be full strength. It has to be 6,000 individual dudes. I'll leave 7,000 just in case they take a little bit of attrition down there. It doesn't slow down the siege. 42% here to take this province. That's really good. Doesn't really look like Aragon's doing that good of a job here. I'm going to put 2,000 units on Lisboa in case Aragon accidentally moves off and sort of breaks their own progress. In terms of the 25,000 Portuguese here, I'm not sure. I think what we could try to do is we could just try to do this little game where we basically kind of just de-siege what they siege. So we kind of just follow them around and just kind of just alleviate put out the fires that they're causing, I guess. If they want to sit on a fort, like, you know, if they sat on Navarre, it'd be amazing, right? This is a good battle for us right here, actually. Then if they want to sit on that fort, I'll let them sit on that fort all day. Because the rest of their country is getting sieged up right now. And what we could also do is we could also take and we could add cannons. We could add our cannons. Do they have any cannons? They actually have 6,000 cannons there. Let's actually posture for a big battle against Portugal here. This might scare Aragon into moving to help us, though, which we don't really want right now. But I think this is going to be a winning fight. We could actually check and see what Portugal's ideas are. Well, we know their exploration. We know they're trying to explore the New World and so on and so forth. They're at the same military tech as us. We could look and see they have ship disengagement chance, blah, blah, blah. Morale hit when losing a ship, blah, blah, blah. Nothing that helps them in the ground war. Whereas we have a 15% morale. We could try to make sure that we have a good military advisor before this battle, but I'm not seeing anybody that's going to help us in combat. We likely have a better professionalism, maybe not, because we spent some of it to slacken our recruitment standards. But we probably have a better army. We definitely have more prestige than them, and we probably have a better army tradition. All that stuff factors into morale and how effective our troops are. They're also taking some attrition here on this province. I think we're going to engage them here. It is going to be a good defensive battle for us. This is a hills province, so this should be pretty decisive here. They don't have anywhere to really retreat to either, so it could be kind of an interesting outcome from this. I don't want to completely remove their entire, like, army, but it looks like that might, like, just happen here. Remove Portugal as a historical friend? No! That's okay. Yep, so they retreated here. They have no morale, right? They're going to get some at the end of the month. Nope, we're engaging them before then. I think they had one tick. You get a little bit of morale every month, right? A little bit of reorganization every month. Why are they going there? No, they're going here. Okay, we'll have to see. Let's keep chasing them. We have a Conquistador that we can recruit. Quest for the New World. We can get an Explorer. We can get a Conquistador. I think we want a Conquistador, actually. That'd be kind of cool. Because we already have an Explorer. I don't know if our Explorer really has anything to do at the moment, to be honest. Yeah, we don't... There's nothing to explore. We need a Conquistador. That's going to be really, really cool. So Conquistadors are like explorers, but they explore like the land. So obviously to go into the heartland of South America and North American stuff, we'll need a Conquistador for that. We have gone to military cap. There's a few things we could actually think to do with that. One thing is just to develop our provinces. I think we're going to boot this person out because they do have a siege ability, but for the most part, they're a little bit weaker than our other general. Now we have this Conquistador. It's not great, but better than, you know, we got them for free. So, and a Conquistador is unique because they can do those exploration missions in South America and in North America. They can actually search for the 7 cities of gold, and you can actually get some really cool little events from that. So that comes from the El Dorado DLC, to be fair. Max Monarch Points reached. We need to do something with these Monarch Points. What do we do with these Monarch Points? Well, if we have nothing that we really feel like we have to do, like we could push down rebellions by spending some to push down this rebellion. This doesn't really get us anything we need, though. 49, okay, whatever. We can actually just intercept these guys. They're still a ways away from happening. Instead, I think we just want to develop our own country. So we could look for provinces that maybe have weaker trade goods. Wheat, I think, actually contributes to force limit and stuff like that. We can actually try to just go into these provinces here and just try to boost these up with some manpower and try to make these specialized. Make these provinces a little bit more specialized. For manpower, I guess. It's not really a good trade good, right? So we're just kind of doing it, thinking about it that way. We can also oh, that's wait a second. I made a mistake, guys. We're trying to get them up to what was the requirement for colonialism? Is it 13 development? Let's go look at what the requirement is for colonialism. The institution of colonialism spawns in the world, just like the Renaissance spawned in Rome, right? It could have spawned in Florence. It could have spawned in Mantua. Could have spawned in Parma or Genoa or whatever. But as long as it was an eligible province, it could have spawned in any of those Italian nations. Now, Renaissance spawns in Italy. That is for sure. The colonialism spawns with any country that has found the New World, but it needs to be development at least 12. 12 development. That's 13. That's 17. So let's get this up to 12. Okay. And let's go over here. And I don't know if we can develop occupied provinces. Let's get this up to 12. And we're spending military points, don't get me wrong, but we're way ahead of time on military technology. Way ahead of time. We're not working on military ideas. We're working on admin ideas, and we're working on exploration ideas. So for the most part, we don't really, strictly speaking, need these military points in the near future. That's a little bit of a bummer. We're not going to quite get up there quite yet. Anywhere over here that's like kind of close. Well, we talked about this province. There we go. That's 12. That's going to be an eligible province, like a coastal province, basically. A European coastal province that is belonged to a country that discovered the New World. I don't think you can spawn it inland. I think it has to be a coastal province. Okay, so that's a lot of points we just spent there. It says we can invest in a new idea, which we can get another colonist. Now, the interesting thing is colonists are 2 ducats a month, right? To be doing this colonial endeavor here, it's costing us 2 ducats per month to do that. So if we actually grab this colonist and we say, hey, and let's get this also here, and we say, let's send them to the New World, guys. Sounds great. We know that we can reach this province and start working in the Caribbean. I think there's a number of different reasons why this sounds amazing. So let's send them to the Caribbean. It's going to take them about a year to get there, it looks like. No, actually only 100 days. 100 days will get there. But that'll actually touch us down in the New World, which is really exciting. However, like I'm saying, that is going to cost us 2 ducats a month. So we're going to be losing money because of that. Part of the reason why we're losing money is we're reinforcing our army. We need about 6,000 more troops reinforced. The Portuguese army has been completely removed. I'm just detaching siege sieges here, sorry. And hitting that button will just give us a bunch of small little stacks, because we need 1,000 units to de-siege this stuff. So we're just going to spread out and de-siege all this. There we go, accommodation with the natives, perfect. 35% on Lisboa's capital, that's going to be a big swing here. We won't have to take Fez, I don't think. 35% on Lisboa. These guys are just sitting around doing nothing. Let's group them up. We've actually lost a lot of sailors here. We actually sieged Fez before we sieged Lisboa, which is kind of funny to me. We are going to need to take people down here to deal with the rebellion, right? We have rebellion issues. It says we can make states. Southern Morocco. Well, Southern Morocco needs to be part of the trade center. Let's go to Safi here. Let's say add to trade center. Let's just add all of those provinces, all the available provinces here to the trade center, or the trade company, I apologize. 35% on this here. Now we do have cannons. We could use those cannons. Let's get everybody grouped up. We've de-sieged everything here. We don't need to devastate Portugal or anything humiliating like that. We just need to beat them. We have these 5,000 cannons. You know, I don't want to take this up to chance. Let's move these 5,000 cannons to Lisboa. That will help. If we click on the siege in Lisboa here, we can see that there's no cannon bonus here. If we have our artillery, if we have artillery or cannons here, this number will go up and it'll increase this total value, this total modifier. Right now we're getting a -3 because of the fort level. The cannons can actually overtake that and help us increase the likelihood of actually succeeding here significantly. So this is a quarantine event. Unfortunately, wait a second. No, I think that's going to be fine. It's going to be slow going there. Okay, we sieged them anyways. Took it anyways. Portugal is nearly 100%ed. We can now take... We're not going to steal their money or anything. We don't want them to be completely destabilized or humiliated. We want them to continue to go about their lives. Continue to go about your life, Portugal. But we have officially PU'd Portugal. I believe, let's check the map mode. Booyah. Iberia is ours. We own Aragon. We own Portugal. Portugal, however, is not loyal. This is interesting, right? We have a disloyal subject. We've completed a mission by doing this. Probably a number of missions, I'm assuming. Oh, this one for landing there. Actually, I think a few of these missions might sort of flip over once we turn the month. Got a number of things that we need to work on right now, including a disloyal subject. But I think for the most part, guys, this is going to be the penultimate episode in this series. I think next episode, we will look at the internal situation. We'll make Portugal happy. We'll try to actually help Portugal continue to colonize. Because guess what? If they colonize, they actually colonize for us now. That's actually cool. They're not competitors anymore. They're actually sort of our cohorts on actually sort of exploiting the new world and bringing back the wealth to the new world, right? If Portugal gets rich, then we get rich too. And all kinds of things. So we can now move through these provinces. We control these provinces up here. We now control all of Northern Africa because all of this belong to us. Guys, thank you so much, everybody, for watching this episode. We will wrap it up in the next episode, I think, in this beginner tutorial. If you guys have questions, please ask down below, and I will respond to all of those questions or just general comments and stuff. I respond to all that stuff. Guys, thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. I will see you guys in the next episode.